Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Mary Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in this week's show, many Tzu Chi volunteers are returning to Taiwan to participate in Overseas Volunteers Training Workshop held in Banqiao and Sanchong's Jingsi Hall. In the United States, another cash card distribution was held in Coney Island, New York for 603 families on the eve of the most thankful day of the year. And Tzu Chi volunteers in China are launching winter aid distributions in Beijing to help those flood victims get back on their feet. In Taiwan, the first 2002 Tzu Chi Overseas Volunteers Training Workshop have officially begun on November 22nd. The seminar will be conducted at the Jingsi Hall in both Banqiao and Sanchong districts for the following 5 days. To make sure the 890 participants from 11 different countries have a wonderful time, local volunteers were divided into 16 groups to provide any assistance needed. After a round of applause, the 2012 Overseas Volunteer Training Workshop officially begins. At the Sanchong Tzu Chi ground, for the next 5 days, nearly 400 local volunteers will be in charge of taking care of their Tzu Chi family members from overseas.
We have prepared everything so the seminar can be a wonderful experience for everyone. It is a rare opportunity for us to be here to gain wisdom together.
During the seminar, Jingsi Abo Master De Xuan uses pictures to remind everyone of Tzu Chi's humble beginning. She says Tzu Chi was established because of the Master's compassionate heart.
The Master always cares for those in greater need. There was one child that was malnourished and couldn't even walk. Tzu Chi Foundation started from a group of housewives, and the Master encouraged them to save 50 cents a day from their daily grocery money to help those in need.
To join the 2012 Overseas Volunteer Training Seminar, some of the trainees flew for more than 10 hours to attend, while a Japanese volunteer was inspired to join Tzu Chi after the 3/11 earthquake.
I joined Tzu Chi after the 3/11 earthquake in Japan. It was a very special incident. I thought to myself, how can I get more involved in Tzu Chi and help the disaster victims regain the strength to walk on?
The master asked me if I could help spread Tzu Chi. I said yes, because I'm a part of Tzu Chi.
The Volunteers Training Seminar is joined by trainees from around the world who hope to gain a deeper understanding of Tzu Chi and spread the Dharma far and wide when they return home. Moving to Vietnam, Tzu Chi volunteers there have previously held free clinics in Ho Chi Minh City, but in recent years, the demand for free clinics has decreased. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have turned their priorities to other needy regions. A free clinic was conducted in a province 100 kilometers away from Ho Chi Minh City for 658 people.
The sky is still dark outside as Tzu Chi volunteers from Ho Chi Minh City and Binh Duan Province set out for the same destination, Hong Quan District in Binh Phuoc Province.
This area is still culturally backward and transportation is not convenient, so we do not have access to advanced medical care. Therefore, there's a bigger demand for these clinics.
The average monthly income of a family here in Hong Quan District is below $50.
He has suffered from partial paralysis for 8 years now, and his body often goes into spasms. He also can't speak, so he doesn't go to school. He can only stay at home.
At the free clinic, residents could choose from 5 categories of medical treatment, providing them with a comprehensive, well-rounded checkup.
Coming here and seeing the smiles on their faces makes me really happy. I can feel everyone's love. When volunteers give a little, they feel immense happiness inside.
Earlier in May, volunteers conducted an initial survey here, and on this visit, they brought with them wheelchairs for those with mobility problems and distributed rice, oatmeal, daily supplies, and stationery to the poor.
In Hong Kong's Shating Hospital, as most of the patients here need long-term care, over the past 18 years, local Tzu Chi volunteers have paid visits to the hospital. To show their gratitude, in 1997, Shating Hospital designated the last Sunday in October as Tzu Chi Day. At this year's event, the volunteers demonstrated their love through a series of performances.
Every year on Tzu Chi Day, Shating Hospital in Hong Kong organized a series of activities to show their gratitude to Tzu Chi.
18 years ago, with the then superintendent's permission, we designated the last Sunday of October as Tzu Chi Day.
To celebrate the occasion, thoughtful volunteers do not forget to help out patients with limited mobility to feel the joy.
When I see how Tzu Chi volunteers show their love to other people, I feel each one of you is so beautiful.
Dancers who showed their love through their performance are also touched by the volunteers' devotion. As for the patients, they forget their current surroundings as they listen to the Cantonese songs.
Today, it's not just about entertaining the patients, but how they bring joy to us as well. They give us a chance to spread the seeds of love.
After watching your show today, we will have a good sleep tonight. As the patients concentrated on watching your show today, they don't feel themselves as patients at all.
Bedridden or showing any symptoms, we need to realize the meaning behind it. Master Zheng Yan is right. We are the ones who should be grateful to them.
Witnessing how the sick suffers, these healthy volunteers realize the importance of cherishing and cultivating blessings.
On the eve of Thanksgiving, Tzu Chi volunteers in the United States conducted yet another aid distribution in Coney Island, New York, handing out cash cards to 603 hurricane-affected families. Tzu Chi volunteers expressed that, at this time, they are only distributing cash cards to those who need it most and trust that honesty will shine through in the end.
Here at the distribution site in Coney Island, Brooklyn, the queue to receive Tzu Chi's cash cards extends long and far. However, tension is in the air.
Listen. She was ahead of you, back up. I stay here. You have to be on the list. It's not going to start till 1 o'clock for the renters, so calm down. I'm not going nowhere. 5 o'clock this morning, okay?
Community volunteers explain the principles and processes of Tzu Chi's cash cards to the local residents, hoping they will understand and cooperate.
If you lived in a home in Coney Island and your home got affected, they're going to only register and provide that assistance to homeowners first.
The numbers were given on Sunday and we started the list on Monday. So that's why the people with the list, I'm putting them in. Because they were here. He's not here, but he has a number. So I'm putting him in to add him into the list later.
The New York Police Department also dispatched close to 30 police officers to the scene to maintain order.
No, my wife was there.
Coney Island is a relatively poor community. Perhaps it was the long waiting line or the fear of not receiving the life-saving $600 that caused many to start to become anxious and restless.
We want to provide for the people that need it most. Those who don't really need the aid, we have preventive measures. Will we be able to control it perfectly? There are no flawless systems.
It helps. Every little thing helps. Because whatever else money we get, we got to fix the house. Maybe I spend it on the kids so they could be happy. Thank you. God bless.
Thinking back on 20 years of relief work and distributions, this is the first time we've ever conducted a distribution in a memorial chapel. I suppose this will go down in history.
When you guys came in and tried to give back to the community, that's how we felt we had to give back to the community. I don't care if they're black, they're white, you don't do that. Everybody is the same and everybody should be treated the same with dignity and respect.
In Coney Island, victims of Sandy included all races, but they are all gathered here today to receive heartfelt care and love.
Continuing in the United States, as part of helping to provide love and care to Hurricane Sandy survivors, Tzu Chi volunteers around the globe have also started canvassing donations. In Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Canada, Everyone kindly donated their pocket money to help the victims rebuild their homes.
To help those suffering on the east coast of the United States, children at the Toronto Tzu Chi Academy in Canada kindly donated all the coins they had.
We can donate supplies and help them buy clothes and food.
Right now, many of the Hurricane Sandy victims cannot go to school because they are closed. Thinking about their situation, it reminds us to cherish our blessings. It is a blessing to be able to contribute our share and help those in greater need.
Meanwhile, on the west coast of Canada, children at the Tzu Chi Academy all participated in the fundraiser, as they know the money will help those in need.
The hurricane destroyed their houses. Right now, they don't have a house to live in.
I think we should help them overcome this difficult time, as they don't have food or heat.
I hope they have food to eat and their houses can be rebuilt very soon.
I wish all of them peace and happiness.
Every child raises their hands, hoping to contribute their share to help the victims suffering on the East Coast. Moving to Taiwan, participants at the Die Mother session also donated money to the donation box.
Many of you say that the US is such a big country. However, we still see pain and suffering in the country. No matter how much you give, $3 or $30, all of it will help those suffering.
Tzu Chi volunteer Ong Chien Hui reminds everyone that the U.S. once contributed to the growth of Taiwan's economy.
In the past, many of us received flour from the United States and wore clothes made out of flour bags.
Tzu Chi volunteer Wan Pei Zhen, who flew back from San Diego, says she's thankful for everyone's help.
When the disaster struck the US, I had just arrived in Taiwan. Seeing so many people sending their blessings to the victims, I am very touched.
Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Jingwei, who is also a police officer, says he realized that life is full of impermanence.
In a rich country such as the United States, we can still see disasters happening. Therefore, the Master reminds us that we need to seize every moment and cherish the blessings we have.
Also, to help the storm survivors, Hong Kong Tzu Chi volunteers canvassed for donations after a study group. Tzu Chi volunteer Lu Yijun says she realized that love has no boundary and it's beyond race and faith.
I am very touched by people's kindness. Everyone is willing to contribute a little to help those on the other side of the world. We are not related by blood, but the world is like a big family.
I hope to donate the money I received from my mother on my birthday to those in greater need so the victims can rebuild their homes as soon as possible.
The study group was joined by nearly 200 people, and everyone hopes with the money donated, they can help the victims move on.
Moving to China, earlier this year, Fangshan District experienced severe flooding that caused damage to many areas. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers held their first winter aid distribution at the township of Zhoukou Dian, helping a total of 555 families.
以双手奉上我们赠送的物资，感恩您。
Thank you all very much.
Early in in the morning, Beijing Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at the township of Zhoukou to conduct this year's first winter aid distribution. Upon arrival, the volunteers quickly unload the bags of flour. The president of the local volunteer association, Li Zhenming, says he was very touched by the volunteers' gestures.
I'm impressed by the Tzu Chi volunteers.
To make sure the disaster victims feel respected, instead of writing winter aid distribution on the banner, volunteers changed the title to providing warmth. In spite of flour getting all over their clothes, the volunteers are all smiles.
We have to seize every opportunity to do good deeds. We should hold on to this kind of thought.
The event was also joined by the vice mayor of Zhoukou Township, who was touched by the volunteers' gestures and decided to volunteer too.
Before, even though we didn't know each other, Tzu Chi volunteers provided so much help to our residents.
This time, a total of 555 families received relief items from Tzu Chi. As the temperature starts to drop, the volunteers provide each household with rice, flour, a thick blanket, and a cotton padded jacket.
If I can wear these clothes, I will keep them for myself and for my children. These clothes will keep us warm during the harsh winter.
Other than distributing relief items, the volunteers also held a free clinic and were joined by medical staff from Beijing, Tianjin, and Guangdong. The volunteers hope with their love and care, the residents' hearts can be filled with warmth this winter.
Staying in China, a cultural and creative industry expo was recently held in Tianjin in November. Among the participating vendors was Tzu Chi's very own Jingsi Publications, who was invited for the first time to attend the event. Over the course of the expo, volunteers also continued to work on behalf of the disaster victims on the East Coast of the United States.
Tzu Chi's Jingsi Publications was invited to participate in the recent two-day Cultural and Creative Industries Expo held in Tianjin, China. Volunteers not only staffed their booth, but also worked to create affinity with their neighbors at the expo by handing out Jingsi aphorisms. One self-employed artist, moved by Tzu Chi's work on behalf of the East Coast of the United States, decided to donate some of his handiwork.
Today is the first event to canvass donations for the victims in the U.S.
I brought over 100 pieces here, and soon an important client of mine purchased several works.
This keychain in the shape of Taiwan with a 1 NT coin embedded in it contains a deep meaning.
It represents the idea of how one seed has limitless possibilities, just like how a little love can find its way all the way to the east coast of the United States.
Ding Ding from Dalian first met Tzu Chi 3 years ago in Shenzhen. She is grateful that the connection is still strong.
I hope that Dalian can also have a Jingsi Books and Cafe so that my family and friends living in Dalian, and in fact, all the residents there can enjoy the blessings that come with such a place.
Coming to help are not only local volunteers, but employees from various corporations. Thanks to the affinity that Tzu Chi has slowly built up in China, the two-day expo was a smashing success and full of joy.
Also in China, every month a free health check is held at the Suzhou Tzu Chi grounds. This month, the volunteers joined hands with the government of Muzhou town to give free health checks to nearly 100 cancer patients and role model labor workers.
Early in the morning, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at the home of Mr. Xu, who's joining the outdoor event held at the Suzhou Tzu Chi grounds.
We are neighbors, right? I saw every step of the building process of the Suzhou Tzu Chi grounds from the very beginning until its completion.
For Mr. Xu and many other neighbors, this is their first time visiting the Suzhou Tzu Chi grounds. Thanks to the volunteers' explanation, local residents understand the importance of recycling and vegetarianism, and most importantly, gain a new perspective on Tzu Chi.
The first time Tzu Chi held a relief distribution, I was here on the top of the building. I saw the good work all of you did. Tzu Chi provided cooking oil, rice, and other daily necessities to people with disabilities.
Meanwhile, Tzu Chi volunteers joined hands with the government of Muzhu Township to conduct free health check for nearly 100 of China's national model workers and cancer patients.
Before, I had to handle a hammer that was around 24 pounds. I had to hit hard. My health condition is not that bad now because I worked really hard when I was young.
I woke up around 5 o'clock in the morning. The volunteers gave us a full health check. I was deeply moved by their efforts.
2 days before the event, doctors from the Tzu Chi Suzhou Health Promotion Center started making bookmarks that have Junsi aphorisms written on it, hoping to create a good affinity with the public. Tzu Chi volunteers also said that they wish everyone can go home with happiness and warmth in their hearts.
Established in 2002, Timah Indonesia is celebrating its 10th birthday this year. Although the majority residents are of Islamic background, Tzu Chi's philosophy nevertheless has received much recognition from Muslims. To date, Timah has well over 500 members, and each year the number continues to increase.
Blowing out the candles on the cake, joy lingers in everyone's hearts. In a blink of an eye, Timah Indonesia is already 10 years old.
We still need to keep it up and continue to make persistent efforts. There are still plenty of regions in Indonesia which need Timah's presence. So I tell my team and volunteers that they should invite community leaders or religious leaders to join us in our efforts.
At the celebration, everyone is in high spirits and elation fills the air. Some doctors who attended the 2012 annual Timah conference also share their experiences after joining Tzu Chi.
I have just returned from the annual conference in Taiwan, and being here today reminds me of Taiwan. It made me rekindle my aspiration as a doctor, which is to save lives. Seeing so many people here with the same goals, I hope to invite more people to join Timah.
Established in 2002, Timah in Indonesia has accumulated a wealth of experience, having conducted 87 large-scale free clinics over the past decade. Timah members relieve the pain and suffering of the poor and also take charge of their well-being.
The volunteers here really give themselves and care for the patients from the bottom of their hearts. When I treat patients now, I don't consider them as outsiders. I treat them as if they are my own family.
Celebrating the birthday of Timah Indonesia, staff members from Indonesia's DaAiTV brought a drum performance, and on this day, 55 new members joined Timah.
After being certified, although I felt I had a responsibility and new mission, I believe this will motivate me to strive harder.
As it enters into its second decade, new members continue to join Timah's ranks as each doctor strives to live up to the mission of safeguarding the health of all.
At the end of the show, we returned to the United States, where Dallas Tzu Chi Kindergarten held a luncheon where, besides Tzu Chi volunteers providing delicious vegetarian dishes, some parents also made dishes to share. We will leave you with these images. See you next week.